From our earliest childhood days, we read a story told through multiple characters in multiple ways, which always follows the same orderly and optimistic script. A young girl falls in love with a doting prince who whisks her off to a gleaming castle where she lives in luxury and attendant joy all the days of her life. The princess lives happily ever after. Except when she doesn't. When Meghan Markle sat down with Oprah last week in front of an audience of 49 million, she challenged us to re-examine our script. As she shared her struggles with mental health, grappling with anxiety, racism, and privacy, the echoes of the past were palpable. As has often been noted in the week since, to watch the interview was to be transported back in time to Harry's mother, Diana's script-shattering interview 26 years before. Both women revealed deep struggles with anxiety, depression, and self-harm. Both felt trapped in the trappings of a fairy tale script that had become their nightmare. Now, you may ask, why on this weekend that commemorates a grueling year of pandemic pain should we dwell on Meghan and Diana? The answer has everything to do with this moment. You see, if there's one thing the pandemic has taught us, it is that happily ever after is not always on the menu, not for princesses and not for us. We all have to grapple with the day we are given, and we all carry with us not only our present experience, but echoes of our past. Echoes, for example, at the beginning of the pandemic, of Bubbies and Zadies who hid in cellars in the Shoah, shadowing our own early lockdown fears. Echoes of the Depression here in America, or deprivation in frozen European shtetls guiding our hands as we emptied grocery store shelves and filled our Instacarts with too much toilet paper. How do we not repeat generational trauma? Our parsha this morning offers an answer in an unexpected way. V'yakel Pekudei is famous for the tremendous amount of time it spends on the details of the construction of the tabernacle. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs points out that this is a very odd thing to do for one obvious, in retrospect, reason. The tabernacle, the Mishkan, is temporary. Unlike so many other things in the Torah, which we are meant to carry with us always, the tabernacle was specifically meant for a particular time and a particular place, for those in-between desert days. It is exactly what we needed until it was not, at which point we needed a new move. That idea that we need a new move as we walk to a different place can make all the difference. Indeed, it did make all the difference when our more permanent temple in Jerusalem was destroyed not once, but twice, and our people implemented a new move. When we find ourselves having to face a new normal, we can view the structures and experiences of our lives as a permanent narrative of who we are and who we can expect to be and what we can always expect. Or we can pick up our metaphorical tent pegs, carrying the ability to build anew wherever we are. We can see this pandemic as shaping us indelibly with scars that will bind our future. Like the Depression generation that stuffed their pantries and saved every paper bag and every piece of foil, we perhaps may find it hard to come casually close again. Hard to imagine handshakes and hugs as we carry the Torah through packed aisles again. But just as one story of our people is that we have always been hated and hunted throughout our history, sculpted by a long shadow of suffering, from the Crusades to the pogroms to the Shoah. The other story is that we are a people who have renewed and rebuilt again and again and again, not allowing the incredible hardships we have endured to limit our vision. Today is proof text of that claim. Our parsha begins vayakel, to gather, and we can't gather physically. But that has not stopped us from coming together from all across the world today to celebrate Andrew and Eitan on their bar mitzvah day. Instead of generational trauma, today we have generational triumph. The tabernacle is different, but the ancient embrace the same. Today is proof text of that claim. As we stand on the precipice of a modern miracle with increasing vaccination, we're mindful that there has been so much lost and so much learned. This past year, we have lost precious members of our community and our country, including your incredible grandfather, Eitan, Rabbi Stanley Urbis. May his memory always be for a blessing and an inspiration. This year, we have lost precious moments, being together to welcome new babies, graduations, proms, and first kisses. This year has been filled with anxiety and insecurity. We didn't get to write that script. But there is a script we do get to write. What will we carry with us? And what will we lay down? Will we carry the wonder of my newly fully vaccinated friend as she exclaimed with delight, "This weekend, I'm going to the grocery store"? An appreciation that, as Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel once said, takes nothing for granted. Will we carry with us from this moment an increased accessibility to community and learning that living on the internet has equalized for all? Will we carry with us the enthusiasm of previously surly teenagers who now can't wait to go to school? And what will we lay down? Will we continue to take the energy that we have sparked in the middle of this pandemic to work to lay down prejudice and polarization? Will we lay down classism shaped by an awareness that the pandemic has given us of the critical contribution of each and every member of our society? Will we lay down our loneliness and stigma about mental health, because we're all going to need each other to heal? Which brings us back to Megan. In so many heartbreaking ways, generational trauma throbbed through the Oprah interview. In so many heartbreaking ways, with all that has changed, too much has remained the same. And yet, Megan's move is also entirely new. This time, Harry sat by her side. This time, Megan reflects the pulse of a world grappling with racial justice and is driving that conversation towards hope. This time, her vulnerability is the foundation upon which she is standing to begin to write her own happily ever after. Happily ever after isn't automatic, not for princesses and not for us. But in choosing what we will carry with us from this moment and what we will lay down, it's a story that we can begin to write today. Shabbat Shalom. We rise now as we turn back to page 108.